I work for social media. We're in charge of doing like getting tweets and Instagram and Facebook and all, like we do that. I know it works because it pays also and it gets more people involved. The flip side of that is I've had to be encouraged because I am an introvert that can do extroverted things. So everybody assumes because I'm on stage, that's me 100% of the time. I'm like, no, it's not. But I also know that being on social media, you have to exude some type of social presence. You have to be social. I think as far as, and which is funny, on the flip side, neither one of my kids, they not on Facebook. They're not. One is on Instagram. One just, and they use it. My son has a platform. He talks about cybersecurity. He has a whole YouTube channel. I'm like, wait, how many followers you got? Hold on, let me get one of your followers. I'm trying to grab hold, but
spread the love.
Yeah, I was like, just give me a couple. But he actually told me, he said, I'm using it so I can teach. And and she's like, Mom, you only show people what you want them to see, which it's supposed to be entertaining. And a lot of times we take the news and it has to be entertaining, or we're not gonna follow, i.e. the drama. I'm gonna talk about Kobe, but I'm also gonna slam his name at the same time. In the social concept, like I'm gonna get you in, and then I'm gonna slam this, and then I'm gonna bring it back. But it's entertaining. It got you going. I don't know. I think social media. Oof, I hope Cheryl never sees this. That's my mentor. She knows. I mean, she has to force me sometimes to take pictures to do so that I am present. But I also know that for me, as a Black woman, not seeing myself in those platforms on TV when I was a little girl did something to me. Like, well, am I not? I devalued myself because I wasn't seen. So it's like a cycle. Like, I think the world has looped us in this cycle. What's popping is what's popping. If you're not popping and you're not on, that you're not of value. And it's like, but at the same time, I'll Dapper Dan. That was, y'all talked about him, then you didn't want him to do it, and then you jacked the style. So it's like, I'm going to keep you in the loop where I want you to be seen, but I'm also keeping you on the loop where I don't want you to be seen. Okay. I'm just now thinking about the 18 jobs out of the name.
18. I think it's 20. We just haven't gotten to those other. That's what I think.
Thank you, Dana. I'm gonna write my list. I'm gonna just
check it twice since we're in that season.
Dana, you see why I was like, I'm gonna just have her introduce herself because
that was best because there's no way.
Somebody actually asked me that. They asked me like, "What do you do?" And I named out 3 things. It was like that you know of, and I was like, no. And I'm like, as I'm talking to you all now, I'm like, I might need the list and. Some folks gonna be disappointed next year. Like, oh no, y'all changed your access to me. No, thank you. No.
Listen, change your access. Oof. I love it.
Yeah, change your access to me.
Your access code is denied.
I told CJ I had to change some people's phone names in my phone.
Don't answer.
Waste of time. It's a waste of time.
Waste of time. Mm-hmm. I have somebody in my phone that's it meant nothing. Yes.
See, that's
I need to get it on right now. Start changing some names.
Absence.
Change the name so you don't even answer.
Inconsistent. That's what I need.
All this
and actually, you just reminded me I need to change somebody to owes me some money. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yes, absolutely.
Since we are making humor of something that is real, let's talk about the comedy scene just for a second. We're talking about media and also the healing that the comedy can do, and has done to for a lot of individuals. So, just with everything we're talking about right now, how has comedy? How's your experience doing comedy with business? Just doing shows. Tell us a little bit about that.
Comedy is great. The business of comedy, not so much. Being a comic, you look at things a little differently. Like I find humor and stuff that's not supposed to be funny. Like I take my nephew's funeral, like sad moment, but I was like, there's about 18 preachers up there. Like churches ain't busy like that. In my mindset, that's what I was going. They were like passing They're like, okay, well, I'm gonna put 100 in. Like each pastor was topping each other. I was like, hey, stuff like that. So comedy for me is great. It's actually my form of therapy. I never got in it to be a comic. I was just telling a story about some church ladies. Go back to the church that did me wrong, and I won a contest, and that's how I got started. But I think, and for me as a female comic, that's also a whole different topic. You go into spaces, and everybody knows about the Me Too movement. If you have seen anything on TV, yet still you have club owners, you have different producers of shows still trying to one up. I'm like, something that MC Roxanne told me Roxanne Shante, matter of fact, in New York told me a long time ago, before I even thought about entertainment, she was like, don't never strip down to come up. And I hold that truth. Never strip down to come up. Because you are propositioned, you are offered different things for stage time. Comedy in itself is different as a female because most people think female comics only think one way. They can only talk about one thing. They can only bring and then being a black female comic, like you said, dang, there's levels to it, being a black female comic also, a lot of times I'm in a room with nothing but white comics, male and female. And I've been in rooms with white comics where we're in a particular side of town and they're like, well, I'm not South Tulsa friendly, which is all white. And I'm like, well, no, none of these people look like me. Zero. Might be one comic in the back and a lady in here getting hot wings that happen to look like me. But I still have to go in those rooms and I still got to relate to everybody. I still have to find topics that make them laugh, and that they get to know me as a person, quote unquote. I say person. And we don't talk about that in comedy. Right now they consider having one black person and one person of the LGBTQ community as having a diverse show. And they're like, oh, we have a diverse show. And I was like, no, that's not. Your audience actually needs to be diverse as well as your comedians.
Right.
And like you said, like giving out free advice, like, no, you paying for this. You want me to tell you how to run a show? You paying for this.
That's a consultation fee.
Yeah, advice is not free. Now what? And then but comedy in itself is hilarious because most comics look at their family, i.e. the trauma and family, for comedy. Like I joke about my cousins all the time. My kids joke about me all the time, whether I know it or not, but it's about that. And then being a black comic also haven't been labeled because I work with a lot more white people being labeled not a black comic. I was like, okay, well, I don't know how you figure that, but being told I'm not a black comic because, I'm not getting on stage and bending over and twerking. That's not me. Right. But like you said, levels. It's levels of comedy that I never knew. And I'm sure it's some that I haven't gotten to that I guess I want to see. I want to see. It's different stages I do want to see. But comedy for most comics, if you hear, it's our therapy. It's our way of laughing about the stuff that goes on in the world and making people take time to laugh. Laughter is the best medicine, I think. I mean, if I laugh, like I said, the good thing I did today was put on my bra. Bad thing was I put on the wrong color that didn't match. You know what I'm saying? It's just stuff like that. Like the things that you look at. I think comedy in itself is great. I wish people would. I know the pandemic is very much present. People would get out and there would be a lot more virtual shows where people could just sit at home and laugh because I think that takes away some of the day-to-day stress that we deal with. I listen to old comics. I listen to Mom's Mabley, Richard Pryor. Probably shouldn't listen to Pryor. But Rudy Ray Moore, that's my man. I don't care what nobody say. So I listen to them because I think that some of their stories still resonate. Like Richard Pryor growing up you might not grow up in a whole house, but your mama was not making bread all the time. You know what I'm saying? She was doing some other stuff. So I think comedy is great. For me, it's changing to more writing, which I enjoy that a lot more. because, like I said, introvert, they can do extrovert things.
Yeah.
As much stage time as I'm on, I need that much time to re-energize myself at the same time. So
totally good.
I have learned to slow down, Dana. I have learned to say no to something.
You were doing more than you're doing now.
I am planning my show for Friday, which is a storytelling event. And it's going so much more smoother because I had to get the kinks out the first time. You know what? I just now thought I said kinks, like kinks was bad. Hold on. Okay, that's a whole nother thing. You know, like we say kinks, like that's bad, like that's the glue. But I'm not planning that. I'm just using social media as a form to get people. I only have one show that I'm doing, and I'm preparing for another show for February. A comedy burlesque show. So I am taking those times. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be able to do your show because I also have to do time for me. I also have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally I'm a mom. So
yeah,
I am taking time.
Okay. I'm going to check with you on January 2nd.
Wait, give me the 8th. Wait, it's an 8th.
Awesome.
I might celebrate too hard.
Okay, gotcha. Understood.
Oh, that's another part of comedy I did not touch on. A lot of comics are either trying to be sober or they on the whole other side. And that is a part that has thrown me as an individual. I'm not against drinking, I'm not against smoking or whatever you want to do. Nothing about that. It's the fact that sometimes for me to see the level of how much some of them are drinking, how much they're doing this in order to get past the pain that they're not dealing with and to be funny on stage. I'm like, yeah. Comics need therapy. Hell, that's what it is.
So just like the mental health professionals probably need counselors too. Yeah. So the comics need.
Listen, all the stuff that I take on, because you have secondary trauma as well when you speak to people. So that's why you need to speak to somebody. I have, before in the past, and I'll, keep it current, when it's needed. Because to just walk around and not, deal with it, it's literally like a pot boiling. Sooner or later, it's going to come out, but it may not come out in the right way. So trying to be preventative rather than just reactive.
Nothing ever was handed, all about respect, never about ego. Wish I could have retired a long time ago and disappeared way beyond the trees. But my homies kept influencing me, said they needed to hear my lyrics, like my flow, cause they felt my spirit. Plus the people needed to hear it. A conversation with conscientious lyrics.